The Arctic looks silent from a distance, an endless world of white, frozen, calm, untouched. But that silence is a lie, because beneath this frozen stillness is one of the most dangerous environments on Earth. A place where the smallest mistake can cost everything. A place where survival is never guaranteed. For the polar bear, this frozen ocean is not just home. It is a battlefield. Every step must be measured. Every sound must be trusted. Every decision can mean the difference between life and death. This is the story of one polar bear, not a legend, not a monster, but a survivor navigating the most unforgiving ice on the planet. Out here, nothing is solid for long. The ice shifts constantly, pulled apart by wind, currents, and rising temperatures. What was safe yesterday can become a trap today. What looks strong from above can be paper thin beneath the surface. To survive here is not about strength alone. It is about instinct, patience, and knowing when to move and when to stop. Our story begins on a calm Arctic morning. The sky is pale blue. The wind is quiet. The ice stretches endlessly in every direction. The polar bear moves slowly across the frozen surface, his massive body gliding with surprising control. Each step presses hundreds of pounds onto uncertain ground. Yet he walks as if he has memorized this landscape. Because in a way, he has. His nose stays low to the ice. His ears remain alert. He is searching for seals, his primary source of food, hidden beneath layers of ice and snow. This hunt is routine. He has done it thousands of times before. But today, something is different. The air feels lighter. The ice sounds different beneath his paws. And the Arctic, when it changes, never gives warnings. The polar bear pauses, not from fear, but from awareness. Polar bears do not rely on sight alone. They rely on vibration, sound, instinct passed down through generations. A faint vibration travels through the ice, barely noticeable, but to him, it is a message. The ice beneath him is young, weak, still forming. He continues forward slowly, each step deliberate, each movement controlled. The ice flexes beneath his weight, then settles. For now, the Arctic sea ice is always moving, pulled apart by tides and wind, broken, repaired, and broken again. What was solid yesterday can open into dark water today, and polar bears, despite their power, are vulnerable here. Suddenly, a faint crack whispers across the surface. The bear stops instantly. This is not panic. This is calculation. He lowers his body slightly, spreading his weight. His claws grip the ice, testing its strength. Another small movement, another faint sound. The crack widens. Dark water begins to seep upward through the fracture, staining the ice beneath him. Cold, unforgiving. If he falls through, survival is uncertain. The freezing water can drain strength in minutes. Climbing back onto broken ice is nearly impossible. At this moment, brute force means nothing. Only judgment matters. And before we continue, if you enjoy intense wildlife stories like this, make sure to subscribe and comment where you're watching from. These stories reach every corner of the world, and it's incredible to see how far the Arctic travels. The polar bear shifts his weight backward, slowly retracing his steps. Each movement is controlled. Rushing would shatter the ice beneath him. Another crack, louder this time. A long fracture opens to his left, stretching farther than he can see. The ice here is failing. Scientists call this rotten ice. Ice that appears solid but has lost its internal strength. One of the most dangerous surfaces in the Arctic. The bear stops again. He lifts his head, scanning the endless horizon. There is no seal here. No reward worth this risk. Instinct tells him what hunger cannot override. He turns, and as he does, the ice behind him collapses. A massive section drops into the ocean with a thunderous splash. Water surges upward, flooding the surface around him. The bear lunges forward, claws digging deep, ice breaking beneath one paw, then holding, barely. He scrambles onto thicker ice, heart pounding, breath heavy. Behind him, the frozen surface continues to crumble, breaking apart like glass. Seconds later, the entire area where he stood disappears into dark, moving water. If he had hesitated even a moment longer, this story would have ended very differently. The bear stands still on the thicker ice, his chest rising and falling slowly, not from fear, but from the surge of energy that floods his body after escaping death. Behind him, the ocean churns where solid ground once existed. Dark water swallows the broken ice without mercy. The Arctic erases mistakes quickly. Out here, hesitation is punished. Awareness is rewarded. The polar bear lowers his head and exhales, a cloud of vapor drifting into the cold air. He has survived. But survival in the Arctic is never permanent. It is borrowed, moment by moment. He begins to walk again, choosing his path carefully, avoiding the fractured ice, listening to the surface beneath his paws. Each step now is quieter, more cautious, because he knows how close he came. Polar bears are often seen as unstoppable apex predators, massive, powerful, fearless. But moments like this reveal the truth. They are not rulers of the Arctic. They are guests on a surface that can disappear at any time. The real predator here is the environment itself. The ice does not care how strong you are. It does not care how experienced you are. It only responds to temperature, pressure, and time. As the bear moves forward, the wind begins to rise. Snow drifts across the broken ice behind him, slowly hiding the danger he narrowly escaped. Soon, the cracks will freeze again. The surface will look solid, deceptive, and another animal will one day step where death still waits beneath. The polar bear reaches a stretch of older ice, thicker, more stable. Here, his posture changes. He stands taller, moves with more confidence, but the memory of danger remains. His hunger still drives him forward. Seals remain his goal. Without food, survival is impossible. So the hunt continues. He pauses again, lowering his body close to the surface. His nose hovers just above the ice. His ears tilt forward. Somewhere beneath him, a seal breathes. Seals create breathing holes in the ice, surfacing for air every few minutes. These holes are invisible traps for polar bears to exploit. The bear becomes motionless. Time stretches. Minutes pass. The Arctic holds its breath. Suddenly, a faint sound. A soft exhale from below. The bear shifts slightly, positioning his body over the hidden hole. He raises one massive paw. This is patience perfected over a lifetime. Seconds later, a seal surfaces. The bear strikes, ice shatters, water erupts, but the seal is fast. It twists away, vanishing into the depths. The bear stands over the broken ice, dripping water from his fur. Another missed opportunity. In the Arctic, even the perfect plan can fail, and failure means hunger. Yet he does not panic. He does not chase blindly. Energy is precious. Every movement must matter. He turns away and continues across the ice, knowing another chance will come, or it won't. This is the gamble every polar bear lives with. Each hunt risks energy. Each step risks death. As the sun climbs higher, the ice begins to soften, barely noticeable to humans, but dangerous to him. The bear slows his pace, avoids darkened patches where melting has begun. These dark spots absorb heat faster. They are weak, unstable. He moves toward whiter, thicker ice, guided by instinct older than memory. This is how polar bears survive a world that is constantly changing beneath them. But the Arctic is changing faster now. The ice forms later each year. It melts earlier, it grows thinner, and with each passing season, the risks increase. For the polar bear, the ice is not scenery, it is not background, it is everything. It is his hunting ground, his shelter, his path to survival. Without it, there is no Arctic bear. As he disappears into the white horizon, his massive form blending into the landscape, one truth remains clear. He is not just walking across ice, he is walking across uncertainty, across danger, across a future that grows more fragile with every season. Yet he continues, because stopping is not an option. Survival is not a choice, it is a necessity. And somewhere ahead, beneath layers of ice and snow, another seal breathes. Another hunt waits. Another risk must be taken. The Arctic gives no guarantees, only chances. And for now, the polar bear is still alive to take them. The wind carries the scent of salt and cold across the frozen ocean. To most, it is just empty air. To the polar bear, it is information. It tells him where the water is open, where the ice is weak, and where prey may be close. He follows it slowly, his massive body moving with surprising quiet. Each paw sinks slightly into the snow, then lifts without sound. This is not clumsiness, this is precision. Despite his size, he has learned to become invisible. Far ahead, the ice darkens. A pressure ridge rises like a frozen wall, where two sheets of ice have collided and buckled upward. These ridges are dangerous, but they are also promising. Seals often gather near them. The ice breaks and reforms here, creating breathing holes and thin surfaces. Opportunity lives where danger is greatest. The bear approaches cautiously. His head lowers, his pace slows. The ridge creaks under the pressure of shifting ice. Low groans echo through the frozen surface. This is the language of the Arctic, and he understands it fluently. He stops, placing his weight evenly across all four paws. Listening. A vibration trembles beneath him. Soft, rhythmic, breathing. His muscles tense. Every instinct sharpens. Somewhere below, a seal surfaces for air, unaware that death stands directly above. The bear positions himself near a faint depression in the snow, a breathing hole hidden by fresh snowfall. He waits. Time passes differently in moments like this. Seconds feel endless. The world narrows to a single point beneath his paws. Then, a faint hiss. Air escapes from the hole. The bear strikes with lightning speed. His paw slams downward, shattering the thin ice. Water erupts into the air. This time, his claws connect. The seal thrashes violently, splashing freezing water across the surface. The bear pulls upward with brutal force, dragging his prey from the ocean. The struggle is short but fierce. Within moments, it is over. Silence returns. The polar bear stands over his kill, steam rising from both bodies. This is victory. Not celebration, but survival. Food means energy. Energy means life. He begins to feed, tearing into the seal's thick blubber. The fat is vital, it will fuel him for days. Out here, fat is more valuable than meat. It is warmth, strength, endurance. As he eats, gulls circle overhead, drawn by the scent. In the distance, Arctic foxes wait patiently, hoping for scraps. Nothing is wasted in this world. The bear finishes and pulls away, his hunger eased, but never fully satisfied. In the Arctic, being full is temporary. He shakes snow onto the remains, hiding the scent from distant rivals. Then he walks away, because staying in one place is dangerous. As the hours pass, clouds begin to gather. The light dims, the temperature shifts, a storm is forming. Snow begins to fall in thick, heavy flakes. The horizon disappears. The Arctic becomes a white void. For most creatures, this would mean shelter. For the polar bear, it means adaptation. He continues forward, guided by instinct alone. No landmarks, no visibility, only memory and survival. Storms reshape the ice. They bury cracks, they weaken surfaces, they hide open water beneath layers of snow. What was safe yesterday may now be lethal. The bear slows his pace again, testing each step, listening for hollow sounds beneath the snow. A single misstep in a storm can mean death. The wind howls louder, snow lashes against his fur. The Arctic reminds him who is in control. And yet, he walks on, because the bear does not have the luxury of fear, only caution. As darkness approaches, the storm reaches its peak. The world becomes chaos. Ice shifts beneath the ocean's pull. Cracks open and close. Water surges below the surface. The frozen ground is alive. The bear finds a small rise of thicker ice and lowers his body against the wind, not to sleep, but to wait. Sometimes survival is not movement, it is patience. The storm will pass, the ice will settle, and the hunt will continue. For now, he conserves energy, letting the Arctic rage around him. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. Because in this world, the ones who survive are not the strongest. They are the ones who understand when to act and when to endure. And as the storm roars across the frozen ocean, one truth becomes clear. The polar bear is not just battling hunger. He is battling time, change, and a world that grows more unpredictable with every passing season. Yet still, he remains. Still, he waits. Still, he survives. When the storm finally loosens its grip, the Arctic feels different. Quieter, heavier. Snow lies deeper now, covering the ice in a thick, deceptive blanket. What once was visible danger is now hidden. For the polar bear, this changes everything. He rises slowly from his shelter, shaking snow from his fur. The air is sharp, cutting into his lungs with every breath. The wind has calmed, but the cold has intensified. Cold like this does not kill quickly. It drains, it weakens, it waits. The bear begins to move again, stepping carefully across the altered landscape. Each paw presses into the snow, testing what lies beneath. Solid ice gives a firm resistance. Thin ice gives a hollow reply. He listens for that difference. Far away, the ocean shifts. Low groans ripple through the frozen plain as massive slabs of ice push against one another. The Arctic is always moving, even when it looks still. Ahead, a long fracture cuts across the ice like a scar. Snow has hidden its edges, turning danger invisible. The bear stops. His head lowers, his weight shifts backward. He studies the surface, not with sight alone, but with memory and instinct. The ice here is young, recently formed, weaker than it appears. He chooses a different path, angling toward thicker, darker ice that signals strength. Every decision matters now. Hunger still pulls at him, but caution guides his steps. A bear that rushes does not survive long. As he moves, faint tracks appear behind him, quickly softened by the drifting snow. The Arctic erases evidence. Nothing lasts long here. In the distance, a group of seals has gathered near broken ice. They bask briefly on the surface, soaking in what little warmth the weak sun provides. The bear sees them, but he does not charge. The distance is too great. The ice between them is uncertain. One mistake would cost more than the reward is worth. So he waits. Waiting is not hesitation. It is calculation. Time passes slowly. The seals shift. Some slip back into the water. One remains. The bear lowers his body and begins his approach. His massive form melts into the snow, each movement deliberate and quiet. The ice creaks softly beneath him. He stops, listens. No cracking, no hollow echo. He advances again. The seal lifts its head, senses something. Too late. The bear explodes forward, covering the final distance in seconds. The ice shatters beneath the seal's weight as it attempts to flee. Water erupts. Chaos breaks the silence. But this time, the ice betrays both predator and prey. The bear slides forward, his front paws plunging into freezing water. The shock is immediate. His muscles tighten. His breath stutters. Cold like this steals strength in seconds. He digs his claws into the ice edge and pulls. The surface cracks, holds, cracks again. The seal escapes into the dark water below. The hunt is lost. But now, the bear must survive the mistake. He drags himself backward, inch by inch, until his body is fully on solid ice again. Water drips from his fur, freezing almost instantly in the open air. He stands still, allowing the shock to pass. His heart pounds violently in his chest. This was not failure. It was a warning. The Arctic does not forgive recklessness. He turns away from the broken ice, choosing safety over pursuit. Energy can be recovered. Life cannot. As the day fades, the sky glows faintly with pale Arctic light. Not sunrise, not sunset, just endless twilight. The bear moves toward thicker ice once more, searching for stability. He finds a ridge formed by old ice, hardened by years of freezing and pressure. Here, the ground is reliable. He lowers himself and rests, not in comfort, but in readiness, because the hunt never truly ends. Every moment alive in the Arctic is borrowed time. Every breath is earned. And while humans see polar bears as symbols of strength, power, and dominance, the truth is quieter. They survive not because they conquer the Arctic, but because they obey it. The ice sets the rules. The cold enforces them, and only those who listen endure. As darkness deepens and the wind returns, the polar bear closes his eyes briefly, not to sleep fully, but to gather energy for what comes next. Because tomorrow, the ice will be different again. The danger will be new, and survival will once more depend on his ability to read a world that never stays the same. Out here, nothing is permanent, not safety, not success, not even the ice itself. Only adaptation lasts, only awareness saves, and only those who respect the Arctic's power are allowed to remain within it.